Every single day, tons of new businesses get started. But let's be real. How many of them actually last? How many manage to build something that people genuinely care about? Well, that's the big question we're tackling today. How do you build a business that puts your customer right at the center of your universe?
The legendary Peter Drucker absolutely nailed it with this one. See, the real goal isn't just to get one sale. It's to make a customer so happy, so thrilled with what you do, that they basically become your best marketing team. They go out and they create more customers for you. And that idea, that's the real secret to growth that lasts.
It sounds great, right? But how do you actually pull it off? We live in a world that is just full of noise. Everyone is shouting for attention. So how do you possibly cut through all that and build a relationship with people that's strong enough to make them want to shout about you?
Well, the answer is a huge shift in thinking. It's about moving away from just guessing what people want and toward actually knowing. To make that happen, you're going to need a couple of essential tools. So let's open up the toolbox and take a look.
So, what is this shift really? A business-first mindset is always asking, what product can we build? What can we sell? But a customer-first mindset flips that completely. It asks, what problem does our customer have, and how can we be the one to solve it for them? And listen, this isn't just some nice-sounding phrase you stick on a poster. It has to be in the DNA of every single part of your company, from product all the way to support.
All right, let's grab our first tool. I want you to think of this one as your compass. When you're lost in the fog of all the decisions you have to make, a good customer persona points everyone on your team in the same direction. It gives you a true north.
So, what in the world is a persona? It's basically a profile of a fictional person who stands in for your ideal customer. But, and this is the most important part, this isn't just some character you dream up. Now, it's built on real research. We're talking surveys, interviews, actual data. It's about taking all those numbers and turning them into a human story you can actually relate to. So why bother doing all this? Well, there are three huge payoffs. First up, clarity. Suddenly, everyone in the company has the exact same picture of who they're working for. Second, empathy. You actually start to feel your customers' pain points and understand what they're trying to achieve. And third, that clarity and empathy become your guide for everything, making sure you're building the right things and talking about them in a way that actually connects.
And you know what? Building one is way easier than it sounds. It's really just a three-step process. First, you gather real-world data. Then, you sift through it, looking for patterns, and group your audience into different segments. And finally, you give each of those segments a name, a backstory, and a set of goals and frustrations. You build a detailed profile.
Let's make this real. Meet Sarah. Now, Sarah's not a real person, but she represents a huge chunk of a fitness app's audience. We know she's 32, she's a marketing manager, and here's the kicker. Her biggest pain point is she has absolutely no time for fitness. Her goal? She needs workouts that are fast and effective. Instantly, the whole team stops building for some vague user and starts building for Sarah. It changes everything.
Okay, so if personas are the compass setting your direction, then our second tool is the engine that actually moves you forward. A feedback loop is what powers your improvement and makes sure you're always heading in the right direction.
And a feedback loop is pretty much what it sounds like. It's a system. It's not a survey you send out once and then forget about. It's this constant, never-ending cycle of gathering what your customers are saying, figuring out what it means, and then acting on it to make your stuff better. It's how you really innovate.
A good loop always has 4 steps. You gather the feedback from all over the place, you analyze it for trends, you act on what you learn, and then, and this is the step that almost everybody forgets, you communicate back to your customers. You tell them what you changed. Closing that loop shows them you're actually listening, and that builds an insane amount of trust.
And to make this engine run really well, just remember 3 things. 1, make it ridiculously easy for people to talk to you. Nobody has time for a 50-question survey. 2, be quick to respond. And 3, measure what happens. Did that change you made actually make things better for them?
Okay, now for the really cool part. Let's put these 2 tools together. Because think about it, a compass without an engine means you're not going anywhere. And an engine without a compass means you're just driving somewhere, who knows where. But when you combine personas and feedback loops, you create this amazing, self-improving system for growth.
So here's how they connect. We start with our compass, our persona. We already know from our research that Sarah, our busy marketing manager, is desperate for workouts she can squeeze into her day. That's our North Star. Then the engine kicks in.
A real customer, someone who is just like Sarah, leaves a comment in the App Store. She says, "Hey, I love this, but I really wish you had some 10-minute options for my lunch break." See? That's not just random feedback. It's a direct signal that proves our persona was right on the money.
And this is just brilliant. The business doesn't just read the comment and move on. They act. They launch a whole new series of 10-minute burn workouts, and then they close the loop. They actually email that customer and say, "Hey, you asked for this, so we built it." That one move just turned a happy customer into a super fan for life.
So you see, these aren't two separate tactics. Understanding who your customer is, that's your compass. And then systematically listening to what they need, that's your engine. They combine to create one powerful system that drives the whole business forward. It's how you build something people truly can't live without.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought. It doesn't matter if you're a giant corporation or just starting out in your garage. It all boils down to this. Who is your Sarah? And maybe more importantly, are you actually listening to what she's trying to tell you?